Over the years, I've successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, the advice, and the software that will take your investing to the next level. I have a team comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. And Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, when to run like hell, even short. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. You don't have to be a seasoned investor to benefit from Phil's Gang and platform. No matter what level investor you are, my strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for the 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Avoid market pitfalls and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grande.
I would argue that all the data has pointed to better economic growth, from GDP to jobs. Even manufacturing appears to be picking up.
Manufacturing? Are you kidding me? Manufacturing is at its historic low, as is productivity. Productivity is at a 70-year low. What's she talking about? These people are unbelievable. So she said we've got a better economy. Well, you don't get a better economy or economic growth that she's talking about when the national debt has increased and is increasing every quarter, $1 trillion. And the deficits are increasing. We're up to $2 trillion a year. How do you get a better economy with that? How do you get a better economy when the 10 key indicators, economic key indicators, that's set by the Conference Board for 20 months in a row has been negative? You're talking about GDP growth, jobs, employment figures, industrial production, consumer spending, inflation, home sales, home building. Are you kidding? I'm not just saying it. Look it up. They've been negative for 20 months in a row. And she's saying this is a good thing? What is she, nuts? It's just amazing. And then you got a market that's got horrible breath. Horrible breath. You got about 5 stocks, not even that anymore, because the Magnificent Seven are falling apart, holding up the entire market. I don't know where they get this from. So, and the deficits, I say, they're a killer. $2 trillion more every year. And it's deficits which really kills you. And then, because they won't cut, they only spend, they're not going to cut the interest payments on their national debt. They can't cut. They got to cut Social Security. They should cut Medicare. Cut all the borrowing. They're borrowing $5 billion per day. If you have a strong economic growth, an economy, you don't borrow $5 billion per day. You don't borrow 40% of the money you spend. What are you, nuts? Or think about it. The government spends $10 billion a day, or $121,000 a second. And she's saying we're okay? And look at our inflation. It's gone nuts. And that occurs when our money supply is outpacing productivity. And that's causing earnings to contract, which they're trying to mask. As we're in earnings season, notice how they keep trying to mask them? They always come out with, oh, you see, we beat our estimates by 2 pennies. We beat our estimates. They don't talk, that has nothing to do with the earnings. But they put that front and center. Estimates. We beat our estimates. Beat it. Well, they're beating their own estimates. Their own estimates. How do you have a better economy when inflation, right now, today, from the day that oh my God, Powell, thank you. Biden, the day Biden got into office, John as bad as he is, Biden got into office to today, his monetary policies. If you go to get bacon right now, a housewife goes to get bacon, and anybody knows, if anyone's making $65,000 a year, you take your taxes out, pay all your bills, there's not much left, especially if you got 2 or 3 kids. But it's his policies that's causing bacon to be 20% higher than it was the day he took office, or still 20% higher the day he took office. Chicken hasn't come down all the way. It's still up 23%. Coffee is still up 30% as of today. If you go back, look, the first day he took office today, how the hell can coffee be up 30%, chicken up 23%, bacon up 20%, gasoline up 44%, and used cars still up 20%? And how can it be that if you go buy a Toyota Tundra Pro, you're going to pay 43% more now than the day he got in office? What, are you nuts? This is crazy. It's crazy. But they don't want to tell us the truth, do they? They don't want to tell us the truth. We have a yield curve that's inverted. No, they don't want to talk about that. Our durable goods are declining. House starts are really declining. House permits are declining. And they still want to go around and just lie. Congress is spending 130% more than its tax revenue income. The government's net loss in 2023 was if you had it as a business and you had an accounting firm come in and have to sign off the government like any other business as a going concern, they couldn't do it. You know that? And now every year when you do your financial statements so you can go borrow money from the bank, they got to sign off the accounting firm that this company is a going concern. They can't do that with the United States government. Biden caused that to occur. That's right. Government had a net loss with Biden, $1.2 trillion. That's why he's borrowing $3.8 billion every 24 hours. Another problem. The Federal Reserve has lost money the first time in 109 years, $117 billion. That means there's not $117 billion that normally goes into the Treasury that helps pay for the Medicare and Social Security. No, it's not going there. But you think they would cut their overhead? No. They keep spending more than they take in. Corporate debt's at $12 trillion. Why? Because remember, when interest rates were at zero, when the Fed gave money to the banks at zero interest, the banks took the money and they gave it to a CEO and charged him 0.5% to 1%. He was paying about $2 million a year in interest. Now he's paying $8 million a year. And that's why corporations are in big trouble, and that's why they're masking their earnings. They're terrible because the interest cost is bearing it. And because of that, there's nothing they're masking. Because of that, we are having big layoffs, but it's not reported in the mainstream media. They won't report it. MSNBC won't report it. CNN won't report it. There's massive layoffs, especially if you go to the tech companies and the banks. Massive layoffs. Oh, no. And the only reason we have any kind of economic growth, because every time we're not going to have economic growth, what do they do at the White House? Have the government go out and build some roads. Have the government go out and do this. Have the government go build a bridge. It's mostly all government spending. Whatever growth we have is stupid government spending. Like building a bridge, that's no good, or painting a bridge. You notice every summer they're out there painting the same bridge yellow or green? What good is that? As soon as they're done painting, they're gone. They're back home. They don't have a job, or worse. they'll pay more. So let's say the government's they come to your town and they're going to paint a bridge, and they're going to pay $35 an hour, and you're working in a small business at that town, and you're making $20 an hour. It causes havoc. So all the business owners, small business owners struggling, they can't go from 20 to 35. So the people lose out because the person loses that employee and he goes and paints the bridge. But what good is it? 6 months later, he's back on his couch waiting for his government check. It's sickening. It's just crazy. More when I get back, especially about the stock market. What is going on with the market? I'll tell you.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Phil Grande has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free. If anything, during that 10-day period, you're going to learn how the market really works. You're going to find information that you never had before. You're going to walk away and go, I didn't know that. So join my gang for 10 days free, philsgang.com. And you're also going to learn how to make money when the market goes down. It's kind of silly just sitting there when the market going down, hoping. Why hope when you can sell short and make money? Either way, you make money when the market goes up, you make money when the market goes down. That's the benefit of Phil's Gang. You make money.
Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level.
philsgang.com. Sign up free for 10 days.
With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG. As the new year approaches, make a resolution to challenge yourself to become the best investor you can be. Phil Grande can take your trading to a whole new level. Innovative stock market investing tools and the experience of over 50 years combined to give you the edge in controlling your financial future. As a Phil's Gang member, you're taught the essential strategies of investing using stock charts, training videos, and seminars. It's information Wall Street doesn't want you to know. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com. When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need experienced advice from a pro.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. I know you're sitting there watching the stock market. You're going, what? Is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do, so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners or shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com. If you want to invest your money and grow your wealth, just listen to Phil Grande.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. There's many reasons to listen to a radio show, but I think to listen to my show, you get the truth, you get clarity, and you get great information.
No matter what level of investor you are, Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success.
You know what? Most of all, it's fun. philsgang.com. clarity, good information, and fun.
What does it take to be a successful investor in the stock market? Developing your skills and learning from an expert like Phil Grande and philsgang.com.
It doesn't have to be hard or complicated to learn how to invest in stocks properly. It's like anything else. You're going to golf, or you're going to learn how to play tennis, ski. You need to be with someone, learn off of them, one-on-one. Now, that can be really expensive, cost thousands of dollars, but I have a program that you can join for 10 days free.
Go to philsgang.com and sign up for a free 10-day trial. Phil Grande has developed tools to teach you how to invest in stocks properly. Not only when to buy stocks, but how to sell stocks short.
85% of people in the market lose money. Get out of that group by just joining Phil's gang.
Now you can learn to invest like a pro with a pro, Phil Grande. Take advantage of this special offer for a free 10-day trial at philsgang.com.
Try it. 10 days free.
That's philsgang.com.
philsgang.com.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264.
This is our January read on LEI, leading economic indicators, and it came out a little worse than expected, down 0.4%. This makes 23 consecutive negative month-over-month changes in a row. This is our...
So I was wrong. I said 23. This is just amazing. In fact, she said that things are getting better. Well, how could it get better? They just announced that Biden's wiping out another $1.2 billion in student loan debt, wiping it out. And he's going against the Supreme Court. But he's going to wipe it out anyways. Well, you don't wipe anything out. It doesn't disappear. It's shifted to us. We pay it. The taxpayer's paying it. And you wonder why our debt and deficits keep climbing? You wonder why? We're spending, again, $2 trillion more than we take in tax revenue? It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. So, I mean, what? And another thing. Listen, the bank term funding program, that's coming due.
If you look at the BTFP, now it's up to 108 billion as far as the utilization. So the utilization is almost twice as much today as we speak than it was during the height of the banking crisis.
That's right. So remember, when these banks, Silicon Valley Bank, and then you had First Republic and Signature, and then behind that, New York Community Bank Corp, they failed. And behind them, there's another 180 banks ready to fail, regional banks. But they didn't fail because of the bank term funding program that the Fed put in place. So now these CEOs of 180 banks can go up to the bank window anytime they want and borrow. But they'll never pay it back. They can't pay it back. They can't pay it back. They don't have the money to pay it back. So where'd that money come from? Increase money supply. That's all they do. Keep increasing the money supply. Keep printing money. Increase the money supply. What's money supply? That's all the cash and coins and savings and everything that's at a bank. So they just keep increasing it. They print it and they shift it into the bank. The banks have more reserves. And what they do is when they put the money supply in, they take from those banks, because the banks are really owned by the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is owned by Wall Street. Because remember, Federal Reserve is Wall Street. It's the biggest banks. Okay, if you take the eight largest banks, and they're the ones that, if I think I have them right, yeah, take J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, U.S. Bank, PNC Bank, Goldman Sachs, and Truist. They're the owners of the Federal Reserve. They own most of all the stock. So the Federal Reserve is not independent. So the Federal Reserve does whatever suits Wall Street. And that's why the smart guys, when they tried to form the Federal Reserve in the very, very beginning, they didn't want it because this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, again, this money supply, when you keep growing it and growing it and growing it, and then you have more supply of money, and we don't have enough production, we're not building enough refrigerators, air conditioners, cars, inflation goes up. Now, all the stuff that's on the bank's balance sheet, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, remember I told you they go and they buy the treasuries and they buy the bad mortgages, put them on their balance sheet. Well, once you get loaded up with all this money, inflation's there for almost good because you can't unload. The only way they can unload it is to start selling off on the balance sheet the stuff they bought from the banks, but they don't want to do that because panic sets into the market. The stock market goes up and they party when there's QE. But when as soon as you hear about QT, that the Fed has to take some money out of this money supply, reduce the money supply to reduce inflation, everybody panics. They say, well, we're going to sell some of our assets on the balance sheet. We have $8 trillion worth of crap. We're going to sell $1 trillion. Oh, people go nuts. Don't do that. Interest rates are going to go up. You know, it's interesting. What separates, think about this. Do you know what separates a successful athlete or businessman from those who fail? It's having the skill to anticipate. That's what separates them. A great example is the Patrick Mahone, businessman Ralph Lauren. These guys, they know how to anticipate. That's what makes them better than everybody else. In other words, if you take the two best goalies in soccer, Becker and this other guy by the name of, I can't pronounce it, Donnarumma. Becker is number 1 in the world. Well, why is Donnarumma number 10? What separates them? The skill to anticipate, to look forward. Like a quarterback. How many people will question a quarterback, his plays? The guys are sitting in the stand. What is he doing that for? Because the guy is in the stands and not out in the field, because the quarterback's out in the field has better skills at anticipating, looking forward. The dope up in the stands doesn't, but the dope in the stand thinks he knows better than the quarterback. Well, he's missing something that the quarterback has, a skill the quarterback has to anticipate. The same thing with Ralph Lauren. He became a billionaire because he had the skill to anticipate what the clothing trend was going to be. Years out, he knew what kids 5 years, 10 years from now are going to be wearing. That's a skill. It's the same thing in the stock market. Same thing in the stock market. It's a big part of the stock market to have that skill to anticipate, because the stock market, you look forward. You always have to look forward to be successful. And now you know I've been predicting the crash. The stock market crash. And I'm doing that based on 52 years of experience and good technology. And the experience is, again, all those years, is to anticipate looking forward, what's going to come. And I'll go over that when I get back.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grande at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up, or why there's continued inflation, or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand. Especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grande at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. These are volatile times in the stock market.
Market's up 200, then it's up 800, it's up 700.
How do you get the facts when investing?
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. If you're confused about the stock market, get unconfused. Go to my site, philsgang.com, and listen to my radio show every weekday at 3 Eastern. What is the market going to do? We know exactly what the market's going to do.
Phil's got the answers at philsgang.com.
There's no need for you to be losing money.
Check it out, philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. Over the years, I've successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, the advice, and the software that will take your investing to the next level. I have a team comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. And the Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, when to run like hell, even short. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. You don't have to be a seasoned investor to benefit from Phil's Gang and platform. No matter what level investor you are, my strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for the 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Avoid market pitfalls and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
If you invest in the stock market, take a moment for this important advice.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. You've got to stop listening to the fake business news networks because they tell you what you want to hear instead of what you need to hear.
Phil Grande guides you step by step on investing.
You're going to know exactly what the tone of the market is. Do I sell? Do I not sell? Do I buy?
All you need to know is philsgang.com.
Check it out, philsgang.com, philsgang.com.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Our team is comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. Phil's Gang has successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. You don't need to be a seasoned investor to benefit from the Phil's Gang platform, no matter what level of investor you are. Phil's Gang strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action, avoid market pitfalls, and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grande. Simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
Let's just assume that all the banks got absorbed by JP Morgan. So you've got the Fed and JP Morgan. Well, let's remember who owns the Fed. That would be JP Morgan. That would be the banks. Yeah. So if there's only one bank, then they own the Fed. Yeah, the Fed technically is a private corporation. Right. And they have shareholders. Yeah. And the shareholders are the banks that are within their network, in their system, right? So if there's only one bank left standing, then by definition, they own the Fed. Right.
And that's exactly what they've been trying to do. You have one bank that have one World Bank. But the important point of that is they control inflation. And so, again, going back to anticipating what's going on, like I always say, look, there's going to be a stock market crash. And there will be a stock market crash. Now, I can't give you the date and time, but you can see it. You can see the clues. Especially if you've been doing it as long as I have, you see those clues. And it's no different with a single individual stock. Here, I'll give you an example. If you're following me right now on YouTube or Rumble, I stream on that, my radio show and my podcast, you can see what I'm talking about. Take for example, let's take GE. It's the same thing as the stock market. So if you look at my chart, my color-coded chart, the ones we designed with our own algorithms, we could anticipate what it was going to do because we could see we had two signals that was telling us the stock had relative strength. We saw volume coming in, and it sent us the, if you want to call it, message from the market or message from the stock. And you can see on that stock when it turned green here, and here's where, right down here, it confirms the signal. And so GE, that stock gave us about a 31% gain. We did the same thing with Microsoft. Same thing, exact same thing. It's all about anticipating. When you're buying a stock, you're anticipating it's going up, just like the market. And you look for these clues. And the one clue you look for is always you got to have those buy signals, and they got to line up. And when they line up, you got the highest probability of a great trade. So our Microsoft went up 28%. JP Morgan went up 20%. American Express went up 22%. Now, this is why I'm telling everybody the market's going to crash. We don't just sit back here and wait for the market to crash. You see a lot of contradictions in the market. Example, how did the market, think about it? The market, when it went from 0% to 3.5%, the market had a 25% crash, if you want to call it a crash. But yeah, it turns around, and as it's going, it starts rallying, and it goes up to near 4.65% when the banks, the three banks, collapsed. The Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic, and Signature. So wait a minute. So how can the stock be rallying from 3.8 to 4.65 when the market collapsed 25% because interest rates went from 0.8%, less than 10%, less than 1%, and then when it was heading towards 1.1, and then it hit 3.8, and it dropped 25% because of those increases, because the market doesn't like high rates. But yeah, it turns around and starts rallying from 3.8. Well, the interest rate's at 3.8. Now the interest rates go to 4.65, and that's when the three banks collapsed because as interest rates are going up. The Fed rate I'm talking about, they're losing money in their treasuries. They were paying. They went out and bought treasuries, and they were getting 2.6% in income. But now all of a sudden, interest rates went to 4.65. They're losing money. That's why they went broke. But here's the other thing you look at when you're anticipating. So all of a sudden, how did the market rally from that crash? Those three banks collapsed, and there's 180 banks behind them with $650 billion in losses ready to collapse. So think about this: the three banks collapsed. They had $60 billion in losses, but the big thing was the 180 other banks that were ready to collapse. But it was stopped by the Federal Reserve doing what? They increased the money supply to stop the crash. That would have been a 50-60% crash. But they increased money supply. So it wouldn't crash. And then the market rallies like 22% from March 2023 to July 2023. Not only was it in the middle of a banking crash, but you had interest rates that went from 0 to 5%. Well, what did you find out they did? Well, the money supply, they increased it so that the five biggest banks, they told their five biggest banks, the Federal Reserve, go buy, and we're going to put 250, we're going to print money, and we're going to increase the money supply, and we want you to 250 billion, and we want you to buy Microsoft and Apple with that money. So, of course, you can anticipate a crash. And it did. We had a correction from July 2023 down to October 2023. It dropped 10%. And we thought for sure it was going to go down 30, 40%. But it stopped. Why? Because they came in with increased the money supply again. So they stopped it in March from crashing with increased money supply. They stopped it in October 2023. And here's the weird thing. Why would it drop from July 2023 to October 2023 10%? Because rates were at 5%, but yet they rallied it another 22% from October to February 2024 when rates were still at 5%. So how can you have a 10% correction due to the rates at 5%, but then you have a 22% rally due to rates at 5%? So again, like any athlete, businessman, you can anticipate. So I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but when you see stuff like this, no question it's going to happen. It's just how long can they delay it? Now, the thing is that this money supply, okay, as I told you, is just nothing but, cash and whatever inside the bank, coins, business accounts, whatever, savings. That's what money supply, and they keep increasing it. So the idea is more money supply, the more interest rates fall, and more the banks lend. The wealthier our owners get the top 1% and 1%, who own most of the banks, and the banks own the Federal Reserve. So Wall Street and the banks, as I say, they control the money supply. So the Federal Reserve, what they do to scam everybody, they say, well, we got two mandates. We're going to maximum employment and price stability. That's supposed to achieve by making sure both the consumer and the Congress keep debt and inflation in check. So they're saying our mandates are going to make sure that you, the consumer, you're going to keep your debt and your inflation and inflation in check, and the Congress, you're going to keep your debt in check. That way, we'll be keeping inflation in check, right? And borrowing makes sense, but they didn't do that because it's not in the best interest of Wall Street. So if they did, then it would keep inflation and both personal debt and the national debt in check. We wouldn't be here today. So it's important to remember is both the job of the Senate and the House banking committees to protect working families, to keep them on a sound footing by monitoring not only their investments, 401ks, pensions, etc., but to monitor both personal, i.e. consumer debt, and national debt, as well as they're supposed to be monitoring the money supply, which is the same as monitoring inflation. So what happened? Why do we have the biggest national debt ever and personal debt ever? Because it wasn't in Wall Street's interest. It wasn't in the interest of the people who are sitting on the Senate Housing and Banking Committee. It wasn't in the interest of the wealthy in Congress, like Mark Warner and Feinstein and Blumenthal and Matusi, who are multi-millionaires.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande at philsgang.com. I've been doing this business of trading over 55 years. God, they make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be. The best way to learn is to follow me, my actual investments. That's right. When I buy a stock, you follow me. Do exactly what I do. That's the best way to learn.
Check out the free 10-day trial. Learn more at philsgang.com.
Be my co-pilot at philsgang.com. Do what I do.
That's philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grande of philsgang.com. Over the years, I've successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, the advice, and the software that will take your investing to the next level. I have a team comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. And the Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, when to run like hell, even short. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. You don't have to be a seasoned investor to benefit from Phil's Gang and platform. No matter what level investor you are, my strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for the 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Avoid market pitfalls and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Why are investors listening to Phil Grande of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grande at philsgang.com. When making wise investment decisions, Phil Grande has some sound reasons you should join Phil's Gang.
When I started this, they asked me, okay, can you explain to people why they should join the gang? Gee, I thought about that. And I guess to make money. But more than that, to get good direction on which way the economy's really going. We get so much crap, so many lies, how great the economy is and how great the tech business is, and when it's not. The problem is we have too many people in Washington and in this industry that just don't tell the truth. The truth is everything. And here at Phil's Gang, we stick with the facts. We tell the truth. We make sure our members, are getting the best information, and our listeners, like you. We make that information available to you and make it simple and understandable.
Good investing means understanding how the stock market works. Join today at philsgang.com. There's a lot of noise out there in the financial world. Bank failures, interest rates, bonds versus stocks. It's a lot. That's why it's important to find a voice of reason that can guide you through these volatile times. Phil Grande and philsgang.com is where you can find honest, helpful guidance to successful investing.
Get the knowledge and understand how the market really works.
And for a limited time, you can join Phil's Gang free for 10 days.
philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Welcome back. Learn, invest, and make profits with Phil Grande. Simply go to philsgang.com. Now, here's Phil.
At this particular point, I don't see the need for the Fed to lower. Take a look at all the real indicators. They haven't slowed down, even the advanced indicators.
Whoa. What did he say?
At this particular point, I don't see the need for the Fed to lower.
Wait a minute. Give me the potato chip. Give me the potato chip complaint. Where is that one, Willie? Give me the potato chip complaint. Are you kidding? When you got, we don't need to lower rates. As of today, bacon's still up 20%, chicken's still up 23%, coffee's still up 30%, gas still up 44%, and autos used up 20%, and we have even Biden, that dope, complained about too much air in the potato chip bags, and he's going to get the manufacturers. And this guy from Wharton, if anybody has paid money to Wharton, go to school and get educated, ask for a rebate. This guy's an idiot. No sense. We're in deep trouble. Now, you can question me, say I'm wrong. Phil, you've been wrong. There's not going to be an inflation. Stock market's going to go high. You may be right. These morons may come back and go back to QE. Because you want to know why? Because who controls all of this money supply? That's causing that potato chip company to have to put air in the bags so to help the people, because the people can't pay more. What is that? Who's causing it? The money. The increase in money supply. And who's in charge of that? The Federal Reserve. They're in charge of that. They're in charge of, and they're in charge of inflation. Here, play that. Play the potato chip. This is
If
insane.
you're anything like me, you like to be surrounded by a snack or two while watching the big game. You know, when buying snacks for the game, you might have noticed one thing. Sports drinks bottles are smaller. The bag of chips has fewer chips, but they're still charging it just as much. And as an ice cream lover, what makes me the most angry is that ice cream cartons have actually shrunk in size.
All right, yeah, I don't want to hear anymore. But you get it. So he's complaining about potato chips in the bag. And this idiot.
At this particular point, I don't see the need for the Fed to lower.
Well, yeah, because the president's mad. They got to lower so we can fill the bag up with potato chips. Jeez. This guy's insane. Look, you can keep emailing telling me I'm dead wrong. I'm dead wrong. Phil, you've been dead wrong. We're not going to have a crash. I'm going to still maintain we're going to have a crash. I mean, it is so clear because the Federal Reserve, okay, who is owned by Wall Street banks, which are the biggest shareholders, they want interest rates to go down. They also will take the inflation any day because they become very, very wealthy. The people in Congress, especially the people who sit on the Senate Housing and Banking Committee, they're the ones that are committee most are worth $100 million or $60 million or $30 million. They want the inflation. There's nobody on your side. So again, we would know we're not going to have a crash if they were cutting expenses, if they kept cutting, if they made sure the debt ceiling didn't go up, if they stopped spending more than the tax revenue. Then there's not going to be a crash. But we can't keep going like this. Look, my job here at Phil's Gang, and Steve and Willie, all of us, the three of us, our job is to anticipate, to make sure our clients are ready for the crash that's going to come. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to make in GE, our 15 to 20%. We're going to continue to make in Microsoft, JP Morgan, American Express, 10 to 20%, 15 to 20%. We think we sit there and go, oh, there's going to be a crash. We're not going to buy those stocks. Of course not. That's ridiculous. But just understand this. When you look at Wall Street, they love to embrace inflation because their assets go up. I forgot, over the weekend, a long holiday, I looked up, I don't have the number in front, I can't remember, I don't want to give you the wrong number, but how much their artwork went up since Biden's been in office since 2021, how much their art value went up. It was something crazy, like 112%. That's because of inflation. So wait a minute. So you don't think that Jamie Dimon doesn't have artwork? He has one of the biggest art collections in the country. You think he wants inflation to go down, Jamie Dimon? Now, Jamie Dimon, they own the biggest share of the Federal Reserve. As long as they got the power to increase the money supply, and remember, when you increase it, that's where the inflation comes, but you can't unincrease it or decrease it, whatever the word is, because when you start to decrease it, the Fed has to start selling its assets that they bought from the banks, which on their balance sheet, and that frightens everybody that rates are going to go up and everything stops. And that's not what Wall Street wants. So when you hear Federal Reserve, remember, it's Wall Street. It's a tool of Wall Street. So if you join our gang, our job is to anticipate, to make sure all of our clients are protected, that we'll be ahead of everybody. So all the stocks that we were buying, just like when the market was dropping between July 2023 and October 2023, I told everybody, short it, short the banks, short the big tech stocks, because they can't hold, because the interest rates are at 5%. I said, if the market fell from 2022 January to October 2022, and it dropped 25% because interest rates went from 0.8 to 3.8, you don't think that the market's going to drop when it hit 5% in 2023? If it dropped when it went to 0 to 3.8, why wouldn't it drop when it's now at 5% in July 2023? And we were right, because We anticipated. But we also knew when the banks were collapsing and the market rallied 20% during a banking collapse. Wall Street, 2008, 2009 went down. The market fell 50% because the banks were collapsing. This market went up 28% when the banks were collapsing. And you say, well, it's not the big banks. Are you nuts? It's 180 regional banks. Those are more important than the big banks. And by the way, the big banks are broke. That's right, the big banks are broke. Citibank always reports a profit, but they're in a hole. They have unrealized losses of $25 billion. Bank of America, $132 billion in losses. Wells Fargo, $40 billion. Big Shot, Jamie Dimon, $40 billion. These are unrealized losses. They don't have to claim them. They can leave them on their books until they go broke. What a law that is. So if you join our gang, you're going to learn a lot more than buy to sell. You're going to learn how to identify what's going on in the market, the clues, the bond market. How does that bond market work? How does it give you a clue? Relative strength. Like right now, the oil companies, I've been telling everybody for 2 months, we're going to rotate out of tech and money is going to go back into oil, going to go back into mining stocks. And sure enough, what are we seeing? Money is coming out of the tech stocks. Money's coming, and guess what we're seeing? Oil starting to go up again. Mining going up. And I said that at least 2 months ago, and everybody said, it's not going up, Phil's wrong. Well, now I'm right, isn't it? Because it's going up. It's the same thing, all the emails I get. Phil, you're nuts. The market's never going to go down again. You've been wrong about the market. You've been wrong about... But wait a minute. What difference does that make? If you're a gang member, you'd been up in all these stocks, making 15% or more. Because we just don't sit on our butts waiting. So every time there's been a crisis, they've interfered to make sure when the market dropped 25%, it didn't go any further. When the banks in March 2023 collapsed, we should have had a 40, 50% drop. They made sure it didn't even go down 1%. Instead, it rallied. And then when it finally collapsed in 2023, July, what'd they do? They stopped it at 10%. So they stopped it at 10%. They stopped it when the three biggest banks collapsed, and they stopped it in October 2022. So they stopped 3 crashes from expanding by increasing money supply, which increases inflation. Is why we have bacon still up 20%, chicken 23%, coffee 30%, gas 44%, and so on. How much longer can you do that? So every time they interfere with a correction, which we need terribly, when they interfere with it, your coffee goes up, your bacon goes up, your gas goes up. But people don't get that. How long can we do that before a crash? Crashes are corrections to correct what's wrong. Overpricing of stocks. Join my gang free for 10 days, and you'll have fun doing it.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grande, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.